What's going on, traders? It's Trader Timbo back with another video here. So today is day 3 of the 30-day discipline challenge. So we got my list right here, and we can go over my day here. So I'm going to go down to the charts. So today there was FOMC today, so I was a little bit cautious about taking a trade this morning, but we had this strong move up, and I didn't really see any great options for a pullback entry. The only one I maybe thought about taking was right here on this little pullback to retest this 25,000 level. But I was a little bit gun shy from the losing trade I had yesterday, so I didn't take this. And then it kind of just chopped around. I was on the live stream today, and I think I just stopped live streaming because it was just so choppy and grindy here after a while, so I just ended it. And then I waited until a little bit later after the FOMC was released, and then I came back after 2 o'clock Eastern, and I saw we're starting to move back down. The EMA's flipped bearish here on the 2-minute, and we're kind of like right on the 200 EMA, and then we ended up kind of losing it here and retesting it. And I was watching this 25,000 level here, and we started to break down a little bit below it, kind of after rejecting these EMAs. We kind of had a rejection here on this candle, and then another rejection on the EMA as well here on this candle. And then once that happened, we're kind of like holding below that 25,000 level. So I got in short right here with 2. And then it started to move quick right away nicely. So I added 2 more. My original stop was like up here. And then once I added, I moved my stop nice and tight right here. So only adding to winning trades is how I like to do it. And then the trade worked out pretty nice. We kind of held up on this kind of pre-market high level here a little bit, and then ended up flushing down further. And I took my first profits here when we got extended. And then we kind of came back to the EMA and then moved down again. And I took off the rest. We actually had, we had a showing today on our condo. So I actually didn't realize I was like 5 minutes away from having to leave when this started to come back down. So I had to get out either way to close it out. I was hoping it would have happened a little quicker to get down to previous day high level here, but I was still happy with the trade overall. It was still a really good move. So that was my trade for the day. So I have the accounts back up pretty close to the starting balance, like $137 less than, let me show this, $137 less than the starting balance here. So we're at, to start the day, they're at like 49,400, and then ended it at 49,863. And actually show the accounts over here too. The P&L is gone for the day because it's later, but you can see the account balances here now on these 2. And this one I started a day earlier, so it's a little bit higher. But anyways, back to kind of the checklist here. So I already went through and filled it out. So today was Wednesday, the 3rd day. So I did kind of use my checklist. So basically on this trade, to kind of go through the checklist, so the key level thesis is basically we started to lose like these zones that were that I had on my chart, like the key level zones. So like once we start losing those and we start breaking below the EMAs, then I see that the momentum is shifting back to the downside. So even on the 5-minute chart, same thing. We're kind of above the 9 EMA on this move up, and then we consolidate. Then we start to hold underneath the 9 EMA on the 5-minute chart. Then we lose the 50, and we lost this zone as well. So then we're kind of holding on this zone, and then that's when I was eyeing this trade when we're about to break that 25,000 level. And you know, I was hoping for a move down to this 200 on the 5-minute, which is where I took my first profits there. So, you know, the zones were starting to break. We consolidated. The EMAs shifted, right? And then we had the pullback, you know, kind of consolidating near the 9 EMA. The 9 EMA is acting as resistance here. I always like to see that. Like the best trades for me, and I've said this before in the past, are always like entering near that sloping, usually the 5-minute 9 EMA and or the 2-minute 9 EMA. All right, but when it's sloping, that's like I want to be entering back near it, right? And then exiting when price kind of gets extended from it. You get a good move away, you take some off, and that's kind of the whole concept. So going back to, so that was the first thing on the list is using the checklist. So kind of went through all this stuff. Obviously, I only took that trade there, so didn't have a loss, didn't have a max daily loss. I added to the winning trade, and then didn't have another trade, one trade. So no trades after 1 p.m. So FOMC days are the only days that I'll ever trade, after 1 p.m. where I'm like allowed to do it actually, just because obviously they're different. Like the volatility can pick up. So I kind of leave some room there on FOMC days to be able to trade in the afternoon. So overall, happy with the day, happy to kind of get a chunk back of yesterday's bigger loss day. And just kind of going back to, let me go back up to the top here. You can see my account, like I said before, the day was at 49,402 after having that minus 739 yesterday. So I got back, over half of yesterday, just kind of chipping away at that loss and try to get these accounts back up to where they started, and then hopefully start to make some progress here, over the next week or two to try to get them past here. So happy with the day, and I'll be back on tomorrow. I think I'm going to be live streaming again tomorrow, so hopefully we get a little bit better price action in the morning tomorrow. I know today it was a nice move up, but there just wasn't really any great like pullbacks that I really liked on this move up. So, I entering near that sloping 9 EMA, I guess there's kind of an opportunity here, but there wasn't really much to see for like an entry opportunity, back near this 9 here. I think this pullback right here was a possible entry, maybe on the 2-minute. Yeah, so the 2-minute right here, we kind of had this retest back on that 25,000 level, which I was kind of looking for, but I just hesitated on it. And then this one, like we're back below the 2-minute 9 EMA. I like to be kind of back above both. So maybe, on that 5-minute bounce here, maybe I could have looked to get in, on the 2-minute after seeing that bounce. So, but it just kind of got grindy. I think I actually put a limit order in originally right here, and it didn't get filled right away. So I took it off, and then it came back down, and it would have filled me. I guess it maybe would have worked out, but it was just kind of grindy, after we had that strong move up. Sometimes when you get that strong move up, you kind of just go into like a grindy channel like this, and you stop getting good follow through, especially on like an FOMC type day. So, I'm okay with it. And, there's always going to be another trade. So that kind of has to be the mentality when you come into each day. If you miss a move, or, the price doesn't give you like a good entry opportunity, like you just have to be okay with that and let it go, and just know that, over the long term, there's going to be tons more setups to come. So you just got to be patient and wait for your setup, and just focus on, waiting for whatever your system calls for. Just wait for that to happen, and then you just act on it. So that's really the main focus of trading, just trying to stay in your own lane, right? And not getting distracted by things outside of your system. Like price can kind of entice you to do things outside your system when you like are focused too much on like just trying to find a trade versus like shifting to like waiting for your setup, right? So you can like look for a trade, or you can wait for your setup. There's kind of like a difference in focus there, for your mindset. So I think like early on in everyone's career, you're always like trying to make money, or you're trying to just find a trade that looks good. And then like eventually you kind of learn that like, all right, I know it works for me. And like the better I can get at like being patient to wait for my setup like to appear and just like focus on waiting for that, like that's when you start to see good results. So that's what I'm trying to get back to right now, just being patient to wait for my setup. I think that's the goal really every day, is just being patient and waiting. And then when you see your setup appear, then you just get in and you fully accept that risk. It's either going to work or it's not. And you kind of let the long-term odds play out. So that's really the name of the game, is letting it play out over the long term and managing that risk. Obviously, yesterday wasn't the greatest day for me with managing the risk, but was able to kind of have a decent little rebound day today to help kind of chip away at that bigger red day from yesterday. So yeah, overall, like I said, happy with the day. And yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow. And I think I am going to live stream again tomorrow morning. So we'll see if we can get some better moves off the morning, give some more opportunity. And I guess I will see you guys then if anyone shows up. And thanks everyone who watched the video. I appreciate it. If you can like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it as well. And then also if you guys didn't know already, there's the Apex 90% off sale right now. So I'm actually going to buy, I think, a few of those just because they're so cheap, and maybe add them to the batch here. So I'll have maybe 6 evals going. It's hard to not just buy a few when it's 90% off. But like I said, if you're not consistent with any payouts yet, I would just buy like just one, just spend like $20 or whatever, and then you can have an account to practice on. So a good cheap way to kind of get your feet wet and get some practice in and work on the good habits. So all right, guys, thanks for watching, and I will be back on tomorrow, and I'll make another video after tomorrow's session again. So I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, see ya.